sudden financial turmoil precursor, Trump is going to move the Federal Reserve. You would never have guessed that Trump is now eyeing it's the Federal Reserve. In a shocking interview, Trump openly said the Federal Reserve must follow the orders of the government. This statement instantly triggered global markets. The Dow Jones jumped briefly, the dollar exchange rate fluctuations. Analysts called this is not a warning, this is a war cry. Why is this worth your attention? Because the Federal Reserve is essentially an independently operated central bank, and every decision it makes affects your mortgage, savings, and credit card rates. If the president intervenes directly, inflation could be briefly suppressed. But in the long run, the collapse of capital confidence, investment withdrawal, currency out of control, all may happen. Some people say this is Trump to fulfill the promise of control of the economy. There are also people who worry this is a brewing dollar crisis. Would you support Trump intervention? Or are you concerned that this will cause...
Do you remember this?
You better comply, because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good, I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one.
Janet Mills just won in court against Trump. Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania also took Trump to court, and he won, unfreezing those federal funds as well.
Taking legal action to protect California, that is what a new lawsuit being introduced today aims to do.
Today, I announced a lawsuit on behalf of the state of California suing the Trump administration.
That was California Governor Gavin Newsom, and he's taking Donald Trump to court over tariffs. I know it's probably been a little hard to follow. Are they happening? Are they not? But these tariffs are hurting people in California, and Gavin Newsom's decided that he's going to take Trump to court over this.
Today marks the 100th day since I was sworn in as your governor. My team and I have hit the ground running to build a safer, stronger North Carolina.
That was new North Carolina Governor Josh Stein, and in his first 100 days, he's gotten right to work for the people of North Carolina. Here's the proof. He's working hard to get hurricane relief in Western North Carolina, brought 1,500 new jobs, mostly to rural North Carolina, and he submitted his first budget proposing over $500 million in middle-class tax cuts. That's quite a big deal. New Mexico governor and co-chair of the U.S. Climate Alliance, Michelle Lujan Grisham, also just signed a new climate bill into law that's going to combat the climate crisis and create new funding in the state. That includes projects to improve the electric grid and reduce the impacts of climate change on human health, agriculture, and the environment. In Maryland, Governor Wes Moore said yes, more jobs in Maryland, signing into law the RAISE Act can create many new jobs and opportunities for Marylanders. This bill will create family-sustaining careers, provide businesses with the talent they need, and grow the state's economy. No matter what happens in DC, Demgovs are fighting for you, and who your governor is has never mattered more than it does right now. So if you're interested in supporting our work, text Demgovs to 30201 and get involved with all the great stuff that we're doing here at the DGA.
I've already signed an executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer. And tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law.
Donald Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, went on Fox News to defend not the deportations, but the failing economic strategy. And I have to tell you, she sounds so desperate. Just waiting around. Unrequited love, where I never hear from the person I'm obsessed with. She says, China, we're waiting for your call. Please call us, China. But China's moved on, and China is making trade deals with other countries.
That is the party that they now represent. That's fine if that's where they want to be. Do we have an update? I know that there was discussions today regarding trade and tariffs with Japan. I expect that probably a lot of countries are going to be signing deals in the days and weeks ahead. Can you update us?
I don't have an update for you. I actually just left a dinner with the president and Patty Morin and some great faith leaders in celebration of Holy Week. So I haven't checked in with our Secretary of Treasury or Jamieson Greer, our United States Trade Ambassador, yet. However, I did run into the Secretary of Treasury, and he told me the meetings were productive and they were moving along, and they were here for quite some time. And the president met directly with one of the trade representatives from Japan because the president wants to be involved in these negotiations and these talks. And I think it speaks volumes about the number of countries we have seen come to the table, reaching out to this administration to cut deals. It's because the entire world knows they need to do business with the United States of America. And China knows that too, Sean. And as President Trump directed me to say yesterday, it remains true tonight. The ball is in China's court. They need to do business with the United States. They need the best thing on the face of the planet, and that is the American consumer. And we are the best place in the world to do business, and the rest of the world knows that, and that's why Japan was here today to negotiate a trade deal.
Caroline, you're sounding very desperate. You're sounding very desperate that any second China's going to call you and ask you to the prom, but China's got a bunch of other dates already. It's the kind of forced optimism when the ship is clearly sinking. Caroline Leavitt wants us to believe that the economic chaos caused by Trump, the threats, the trade wars, the tariff hikes and pauses, and all of it, it's making the United States this irresistible center of global trade. Things are so stable here, Caroline, that everybody's desperate to do business with us. The reality is it's scaring off allies. It's disrupting supply chains. It's raising prices for American consumers. And the idea that the ball is in China's court is like the opposite of reality. China doesn't need to come back to us. They're doing business with Europe. They're doing business with South America. They're building alternatives to U.S. trade routes. We just heard about South Korean discussions that are taking place and others. Trump's waging economic war on the people of this country. And meanwhile, China's moving on. And Caroline Leavitt is just begging.